how can we solve quadratic equations where the coefficient of the x squared term isn't 1? There's a number before the x squared term. Well, one strategy is to take out a common factor. So let's see how that works. So sometimes every term has a common factor. And in this case, we can take out the common factor. Here, 2x squared plus 10x plus 12. 2 goes into all of these things. 2 goes into that, and into that, and into that. I could divide them all by 2. So let's do that. Let's take the 2 out the front. We'll take out the common factor. That's nice. So it'll be 2 bracket, and then I'll divide each of these terms by 2. 2x squared divided by 2 is x squared. And sure enough, 2 times x squared gives me 2x squared. Good. This one here, 2 times something gives me 10x. 2 times 5x. And finally, 2 times something gives me 12. 2 times positive 6. So this equals 0. Now, we can factorize this quadratic expression here. I won't go through how to do that. This one can be done with sum and product, 2 numbers that add up to be positive 5 and multiply to give positive 6. And those 2 numbers are 2 and 3. For more practice on that, try my other video on, oh, not this one. I went too far back. There we go, on this stuff, right? And in fact, you can do this on the side. This is using the sum and product rule, or factorizing trinomials. So if you're not sure about what we're currently doing, if you're not sure how I got from this step here to this step, sum and product rule is what you want to revise. 2 numbers that add to give 5 and multiply to give 6. So this expression here is the same as this expression here. So now, by the null factor law, either 2 is 0, which is impossible, or x plus 2 is 0, or x plus 3 is 0. So we can solve each of these equations individually. Let's solve the first one. X plus 2 is 0, plus 2 moves to the other side, turns into minus 2, so x is negative 2. Or, to solve this one, the plus 3 moves to the other side and turns into negative 3. So x is 0 take 3, which is negative 3. So those are solutions. Not quite as scary and complicated as it looks from first glance. It is doable. It just requires you to be really confident in using the sum and product rule. So go back and revise that if you don't feel confident with it. Okay, what about this one? Oh, this one, notice that the x squared term is negative. That's annoying. So the common factor that we're going to take out is a negative 1. Normally we just write a negative sign out the front, but you can imagine that I'm taking out a common factor of negative 1 and dividing each of these terms by negative 1. In your head, you can imagine it as divide by negative, even if that's not mathematically the best way to phrase it. So anyway, this here, I'm taking a negative sign out the front. This one was negative, so now it will be positive. This second term was positive 5x, and now it will be negative. And this last term was negative 6, and now it will be positive 6. So that, and I copy down the equals and copy down the 0. So yes, you can take a negative sign out the front, and that means that every single term in here, if it was negative, it'll become positive, and vice versa. Well, now I can solve this quadratic equation. You can factorize this part here. You'll note that I've tried to keep the factorizing pretty simple here, like it's the ones that we've already sort of looked at. But yes, we'll copy down the therefore, copy down the negative. We just want to deal with factorizing this. 2 numbers that have a sum of negative 5 and a product of positive 6. You can go through all the different combinations, but I'll just tell you negative 2 and negative 3. These are the magical numbers that if you add them, negative 2 take 3 equals negative 5, you get the sum. And if you multiply them, negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. So the product works as well. So that equals 0. Now I can use the null factor law. Either negative 1 is 0 or x, which is impossible, or x minus 2 is 0 or x minus 3 is 0. So now I can solve this equation, same kind of thing. Negative 2 goes to the other side, becomes positive 2. So x equals 0 plus 2, which is 2. This one, negative 3, moves to the other side, becomes positive 3. X is 0 plus 3, which is 3. If the step, by the way, just a reminder, if the step from here to here is confusing, go back and do more of this stuff, more of the sum and product factorizing. Yes, and if I remember, I'll try to post some links in the description to help you out with that. All right, good luck with these kinds of questions. Bye, everyone.